Successful people move on their own initiative, but they know where they're going before they start. Hello, I'm Carla, psychotherapist and mindset coach, and on this channel, I help you get unstuck and reach your goals by exploring topics that shift your mindset so you can live your highest potential. We are continuing the reading of The Science of Personal Achievement from Napoleon Hill. We have arrived. We are finally at chapter 1, Definiteness of Purpose. The previous videos, we went over the intro, which was pretty lengthy, but we're going to go through this whole book together. So we're starting on chapter 1. I'm going to read a little bit, share any commentary, and then really teach how we can apply this to our lives. This is a pretty big book, but we are going to go through it together. So I'm so glad you're on this journey with me. Let's dive in. Chapter 1, Definiteness of Purpose. Successful people move on their own initiative, but they know where they're going before they start. This knowledge is the focus of the first of the 17 principles, definiteness of purpose, a specific objective toward which you are working. Successful people are those who don't settle for anything short of what they set out to get. I think I mentioned it in a previous video, but Oprah was questioned on one of these talk shows and she was asked, Oprah, why don't people achieve their goals? Why do only some people get to their end result and achieve the goals that they want and they set out in life and most people don't? And she said, the people who succeed and get to where they want, it's because they know where they're going. They know what they want. They know where they're headed. And most people never decide, have a definiteness of purpose, as Napoleon Hill would put it. They don't know where they're going. They just drift. They do good work. They work really hard. I'm sure they're really good people. But if we don't know where we're going, how are we ever going to get there? So definiteness of purpose. Again, successful people are those who don't settle for anything short of what they set out to get. So what are you setting out to get? It's a new year, by the way. Happy New Year, or whenever you watch this video, it's January 1st, 2024. And it's a perfect time of year to decide what you really want. What do you want? Where are you going? Get specific. What's your definiteness of purpose? If you don't have one, that's okay. Decide right here, right now. Maybe after this, take a journal and write out everything you want in every category of life. I break them up into 4 categories. Finances, what do you want your money to look like? Relationships, what do you want your relationships to look like? Intimate partner relationships, friendships, family, coworkers, health, mental, physical, emotional health. What do you want that to look like? In your career, the work you do in life, what do you want that to look like? Really allow yourself to get specific. Don't be afraid. Don't hold back. Nothing is off limits. Let your imagination run wild. Put it down on paper. Really allow yourself to go there. Napoleon goes on to say, when I was 10 years of age, my mother died, and 2 years later, my father brought into our home a stepmother. Long before she got there, my mother's side of the family had coached me and my little brother to hate the woman who was coming in to take my mother's place. And we had done a wonderful job of getting ready to hate her. That's funny. When my father brought her home and introduced her to all my uncles and aunts, he said, and over here in the corner, Martha, is your son, Napoleon, the meanest boy in Wise County. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if he starts throwing rocks at you by tomorrow morning. I tightened up my arms and I said to him, you're doggone right, I'll show that woman something. And I meant to do just that. She came over and put her hand under my chin and lifted my head up and looked squarely into my eyes. And she turned around and made a speech that has reverberated around this world, that has influenced millions of people already and will influence millions of others for the better. She said, you're wrong about this boy. You're just as wrong as you can be. He's not the meanest boy in Wise County. He's probably just the smartest boy who hasn't found out yet what to do with his smartness. Oh, wow, that's really good. I knew then and there that my stepmother and I were going to get along all right. That's a sweet story. That was the first time in my life that anybody ever said anything kind about me. I was a bad boy. I had a revolver. I used it effectively, and everybody in the whole neighborhood was afraid of me, and not without cause. Oh my God. My stepmother went to work on me, and she made me trade in that revolver for a Blickensderfer typewriter. Then she taught me to type, and in no time we had 26 newspapers on my list. I wrote a newsletter from those mountains, and when we didn't have news, believe you me, I made it. About a month after my stepmother came, she dropped her denture one morning and it broke. Up to that time, I never had heard of such a thing as a denture. My father was a watchmaker, had a blacksmith shop, a little country store, and a post office. An all-around tinkerer, you might say. And oh yes, he had what purported to be a little farm where I was put to work. He picked up the broken denture and reassembled the 2 pieces. He looked at it for a moment, said, my dear Nora, I believe I can make a set of teeth. She ran over and threw her arms around him and said, well, I know you can make a set of teeth. And I thought, what a woman, my old man make a set of teeth. Oh my God. This story. He can shoe a horse. I know because I've seen him do it, but make a set of teeth? About 3 weeks afterward, I came home from school and smelled the most peculiar odor when I entered our yard. And when I went into the house, I saw a clear little kettle sitting over the fire. I asked my stepmother what it was. She said, "Your father sent away to the dental supply house for materials to make me a set of teeth, and they're in there cooking." I thought, my gosh, what a woman. Well, this is funny. After it cooked the necessary amount of time under pressure, my father took the little kettle down to the creek, cooled it off, and took out a great hunk of plastic parts, trimmed away the outside of it, took a piece of emery cloth, and dressed down the plate. I knew it would never get into my stepmother's mouth. It looked too big. But he put it in and it fit almost perfectly. She wore it for 3 years. Wow. Napoleon Hill's father made his stepmother a pair of dentures. The next time I came home from school, there was a neat hand-painted sign on our front door. Dr. J.M. Hill, dentist. By George, she had made a dentist out of him overnight, without the details of his going to school or taking an examination or getting a license. He went to the blacksmith shop and made himself some tools to pull teeth. Oh boy, did he do business. He practiced dentistry in eastern Kentucky, southwest Virginia, and down in Tennessee. Oh my goodness, what a story. Well, in no time, we were in the money, really in the money, making $50 to $60 a month. That went on for about 3 years. Then one day, the local justice of the peace came with a law book under his arm and said, "Look here, Dr. Hill, section 540 of the Code of Virginia said you have to have a license to practice dentistry. If you don't have it, you're liable to go to jail." Well, he and my stepmother went into a caucus with the understanding my father would ride to the county seat and see a lawyer. Late in the afternoon, I saw him returning from the county seat, riding down the valley. I knew by the way he was slumped on the horse that he had done what 999 out of every 1,000 generally do. He'd accepted that the problem was something he couldn't do anything about. The lawyer said he had to take an examination, and my father came to the conclusion he didn't have education enough to take an examination. As he dismounted, he said, "Well, Martha, it's all over. The lawyer says I have to take an examination, and you know I don't have enough education to do that." Now, the average woman would have walked away and said it was just too bad. We'll try something else. But that wasn't the way my stepmother operated. If she'd operated like that, you wouldn't be reading this book today. And I wouldn't be talking to millions of people all over the world because there would have been no Napoleon Hill. She said, "Now look here, Dr. Hill, I haven't made a dentist out of you to have you let me down. If you have to go away to college and learn how to take an examination, then that's exactly what you'll do." I thought, my goodness, what a woman. What a woman. My old man went to college, but they wouldn't let him on the campus, let alone matriculate. You know what she did? This is somebody who moved with definiteness of purpose and didn't know the opposite of definiteness of purpose. She sent my father to Louisville Dental College, put him through college for 4 years with the life insurance money of her former husband, and made one of the most outstanding dentists in Southwest Virginia. My father became one of the most prominent dentists, probably in the whole state of Virginia. That's how she operated. Wow, what a woman. This is how anybody will operate who gets hold of this philosophy and uses it the way that it's capable of being used. And if you didn't have anything else in the world except this lesson number 1 and knew exactly what you wanted and stood by your guns, you could almost forget the other 16 principles. It's that important. Definiteness of purpose. Wow. We'll stop there for today. The next section is 7 factors of definiteness of purpose. Napoleon Hill is saying, if we understand this one principle and we truly apply it, we can literally throw out the rest of the 16, because the starting point to any journey, to any trip, is knowing where we're headed. I remember one time being in, I think it was a master class with Bob Proctor. It was a live Zoom call and it was a small group of people, and he had us all reading out our purpose, like our vision. And there was this woman who read out this beautiful vision. She like wanted to be the Oprah of India or something. And she was just saying all these wonderful things and reading it in detail. And at the end, I was like, we're all like hanging to see what Bob would say about it, because she wanted his feedback. And he said, "That's really beautiful, but you need to get more specific." And we were all just like, wow, what? It was very detailed, but it wasn't specific as to what she wanted. She said she wanted to do this and that and, make all these changes and help the world, but it wasn't specific. Where is she going? It was kind of just like everywhere. It wasn't definite because it could have gone here, it could have gone there, and it wasn't definite. So he gave this metaphor in this example, which I use all the time. He said, what you just read was very vague. It was really beautiful, but it was like saying, I'm heading west. I'm going to head west. You go out on a journey. Where do you want to go? I want to go west. Okay, so we get in our car and we head west. Okay, keep going west, keep going west. We can keep going west. West never ends. We keep going west. We keep going west. We're going in circles. He said, instead, you might be in New York and you want to get to LA, specifically 9000 Sunset Boulevard in LA. That's specific. That's still west, but you know your destination. You know where you're going. You have a definite plan, a coordinate, an address. 9000 West Sunset Boulevard. So he said, don't just say you're going west. Say you're going to 9000 West Sunset Boulevard, because you'll know when you get there. And so that's how important definiteness of purpose is. So I would encourage you, this is a beautiful time of year to do it. It's the beginning of the year, but it doesn't matter when you watch this, because truly it doesn't matter. Today is day one. Make today day one. Don't let it be one day. You know that saying, is it day one or is it one day? You can make a decision right now. It doesn't matter. I just started a 30-day workout challenge, and I started it randomly on a Sunday. I didn't wait till Monday. I would have started it on Tuesday. It doesn't matter. Just start today. The time is going to pass anyway. Today can be day one. So get specific with your definiteness of purpose. Where are you going? What do you want? Allow yourself to go there in your mind. Allow yourself to dwell there. Get emotionally involved with your goal, your destination, your definiteness of purpose. Why are you getting up in the morning? Why do you do what you do? Why do you go to work? What's the end game? Where are we going? And once we get there, we have new goals. It's but where are we going now? I use the metaphor of island hopping, or I use the metaphor of climbing a big mountain and we reach base camps until we reach the summit. And then once we reach the summit, there's another mountain to climb, and it never ends. We're always growing, hopefully, if we want to live, because to really be alive, you're growing, you're working towards something. Think of it like a plant or a tree. It never stops growing. I mean, it might stop growing this way, but it's always growing this way, right? Leaves are dying and it's revitalizing and getting new leaves and shedding and always regenerating itself. It's always growing and shedding and changing. And we're like that as well. So what are you growing towards? Are you growing towards anything? There's been times in my life where I haven't, and I felt dead inside. If you've ever felt dead inside, you have no purpose, you don't know where you're going, you're drifting, you're aimless, that's the worst place to be. And that's not how we're meant to be. Human beings are goal-seeking organisms. We're meant to grow. We want to expand. That's why we're never satisfied. It's we always want something new, and we're like, God, can't we just relax now? Can't we just be satisfied? No, that's not in our nature. But it's a beautiful thing to not be satisfied, because we're always creating something new. We're always growing. And dissatisfaction, to be dissatisfied with something, is a creative state, because when we make something new, I mean, if you think about it, if we were satisfied with the ink and quill, I would never be holding a pen. If we were satisfied with the horse and carriage and snail mail, we would never have telephones. We would never have computers. And it's only going to just keep getting better. Think about the iPhones or the smartphones we have now. It's a far cry from the flip phones we used to have. And those iPhones and those smartphones we have now will be obsolete probably in 10 years. Who knows what we'll be using? It's always going to be growing, always going to be changing. It's in our nature to continue to create. Be dissatisfied to create more. Always be happy and grateful for what you have, but never be satisfied, because dissatisfaction is a creative state. We're always learning and growing and getting better. And that's the beauty of life. It's what makes us feel alive and has us get out of the bed in the morning. So what is your definiteness of purpose? Do you have a definiteness of purpose? I encourage you to get Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. There's a link to the original copy below. And I actually have a free PDF of Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. Message me, email me, my information's below, and I will send it to you. So let me know. I really enjoyed this. Definiteness of purpose, chapter 1. This is so important. What are we heading towards? What is our definiteness of purpose? Napoleon Hill's stepmother was set. She did not let anybody tell her no. She knew what she wanted, and she was quite the woman, as Napoleon Hill said. I love how he infuses these stories, and how he was saying that he was just this punk little kid with a revolver, and she really set him straight and made him return the revolver for the typewriter, which when I was in Wise, Virginia visiting the Napoleon Hill Foundation, the archives, I saw both of his typewriters that he traded the revolver in for. There's a video, I think I have it on one of my shorts, but the typewriter that he typed all of his original manuscripts for Think and Grow Rich, for Outwitting the Devil, for Master Key to Riches. I got to hold the original copy of Outwitting the Devil. It was so amazing. Yeah, I have a video here on my YouTube somewhere. The history is just so rich, and I'm just so happy to be a part of this and reading this. And if you're a fan of Napoleon Hill or personal development, I am a certified coach of the Napoleon Hill Institute. All of my information is below. Reach out if you need help. If you want to reach your goals for the new year, I offer free 30-minute coaching calls. So please don't hesitate to reach out, schedule that call with me. I would love to help and support you with all of your goals and help you get a definiteness of purpose. So thank you again for tuning in and for sticking with me here. I really appreciate it. And with the new year, I truly just want to thank each and every person who tunes in, likes, comments. I really appreciate it. I love doing this work and it's great to get feedback. So thank you again, and I will see you guys next time.